I want to talk about the English writer of children's books. This is Roald Dahl, and he's the author of a whole bunch of really marvelous children's books. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory being perhaps the most famous, Matilda, many others. In fact, Debbie and I were having a little humorous conversation. Debbie's like, Dahl, that sounds kind of like an Indian name. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's D-A-L. This is D-A-H-L, and his first name, Roald. I've never known an Indian called Roald. I said, I think it's kind of Norwegian or Swedish, and Debbie just looked it up, and sure enough, he was born in Wales, but he is of Norwegian immigrant parents. In any event, what I want to describe is quite disturbing. Essentially, his publisher, now that Roald Dahl is no longer around, this publisher is rewriting his books. In the name of political correctness. They're changing sentences. This raises all kinds of disturbing possibilities. Are they going to go back and rewrite Shakespeare? Are they going to go back or for those of us who are writers, can we look forward to the fact that, we think we're writing like lasting works of importance for posterity, but later some other little dude shows up, some other elf, and he goes, I'm going to rewrite Dinesh's books. I don't like the title The End of Racism. I'm going to call it The Beginning of Racism. I mean, what kind of madness is this? Who thinks this is okay? It can't be okay. So here we go. Let me give you a few examples because this just shows you the state of where we are now. And the blame goes to Puffin Books. Puffin Books. I mean, this is like, first of all, the word puffin is a huge giveaway. I mean, it could... Teabag Publishers has decided to rewrite his books. I mean, wow. Bend Over Inc. is rewriting Roald Dahl's books now. Anyway, Puffin is evidently a division of, it's a division of Penguin, and they're rewriting his books concerning weight, mental health, gender, and race. This is even beyond the normal definition of political correctness. So apparently in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, he talks about small men and small people. So the cloud men have now become cloud people. They just change it, And then in Matilda, there's Miss Trunchbull, and she's called a most formidable woman. Oh, no, she was apparently called a most formidable female, but they now changed it to woman. A new line is added in The Witches. So there's a paragraph that says witches are bald underneath their wigs. And the new line is, this has just been added by the publisher. There are plenty of other reasons why women might wear wigs, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. I wonder who at Bend Over Books came up with this particular, addition. We need to make an observation about wigs. Yeah. And look, this stuff is so stupid and so moronic that even Salman Rushdie, not exactly a sensible guy in the normal circumstances, says this is absurd. Censorship, PEN America, which is the writers' organization here in America, the head of PEN America made an observation saying, we risk distorting the work of great authors and clouding the essential lens that literature offers on society. All of this is true, but it's understated because what is going on is just quite outrageous. It's quite stupid. And it kind of shows you how this mentality consolidates itself at a publishing house of all places. I mean, I don't really know what things are like at, Puffin Publishing House. Now, it's not as if this is entirely new. I'll give a single example. When I was in India, I came across, and I became a fan of Agatha Christie. And I came across one of Agatha Christie's books. Now, it had the N-word in it in the title. But you have got to remember that the N-word itself came out of a song that Agatha Christie describes. The song is sort of the centerpiece of this little, horror and detective story. It was called 10 Little and Then the N-Word. This was the original title of the book. And I was like, oh, wow. And I always say I was in India. This was not an issue in India. So I read the book. It was a good detective story. In fact, one of Agatha Christie's best works. Then I came to America and I discovered that this title had been changed. And the same book was now titled 10 Little Indians. Initially, I thought they meant Indians from India, but then as I read, I realized, no, they now meant 10 little Native Americans, I guess they would say today. And apparently even that became politically incorrect, so that in more recent years, I noticed the book's title has changed again. And now there's a movie whose title has also been changed, and it's called "And Then There Were None," which is, by the way, the last line of that little rhyme or poem that Agatha Christie was alluding to. So you can see that even here in it, but that was a singular example where of course, the offensive term was genuinely and is genuinely offensive, and it was in the title of the book. So we've gone from that to now, let's go to this children's writer. Now, again, Puffin Books is like, we want all children to enjoy reading these books. So they're defiling literature. And Roald Dahl is, I'm not saying Roald Dahl is Shakespeare, but this is literature that can have lasting value. Books that are appealing to children and tap into a real vein of the child's sense of wonder, the children's sensibilities, can be books that last for a generation or more. So I think this is atrocious behavior. I hope that Puffin Books retracts. I hope that they hear from a lot of powerful and smart and influential people who genuinely love literature, saying that you people are an abomination. You shouldn't have done this in the first place, but undo all this nonsense and restore Roald Dahl's books to the way he wrote them.